Hey everyone, good day to you. This is Roger, of course. Welcome back. And if you're just seeing this debuting, Merry Christmas Eve. I think you can say that, right? Merry Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you're having an awesome holiday. And tomorrow's Christmas, at least when I'm filming this, it is Christmas. So I hope you're ready for Christmas. Hey, we're back. Turn two, and I think we're going to roll right into turn three, depending on how much trouble we get into the dungeon. So welcome. It's always nice to hang out with you. And I have to tell you real quick, I just put out the Kickstarter update, the video format of it, and it has been so busy the last few days. So I'm sorry for my delay, but everything is pretty much clear. So we'll be hanging out all Christmas weekend. Open up your gifts, watch some Dungeon Crusade, and it's all good. So let's get going with turn two. But I did want to go over a few things because Andrew, yeah, you pointed something out, and I didn't throw something in about when we were talking about line of sight, and I forgot something. I put an oops in the other video. The Shadow Wraith should have moved again, and it was really late. So I'm sorry. I was cranking those videos out like I was staying up for like 22, 24 hours straight because I love playing this. So let's go over a few things and then get into turn two. And remember, we're going to enable traps, and I'm going to show you that game mechanic. So let's briefly go over this. Okay, and I'm going to borrow our friendly skeletal grunt. Remember when we were talking about line of sight? And oops, came out of focus. We'll get it back in. There we go. And you know, a lot of times I'm looking through the camera at everything. But I should have thrown this in. Remember when we moved here and I said, of course, minions have a line of sight of 4. And I went 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have thrown in if that wall was not there, because Zeke was standing right by this wall. So that would, of course, block line of sight. So I apologize about that. So if that wall wasn't there, then yes, this vagrant minion would convert into a raiding minion. But there's a wall there, and so it would just keep going on the patrol route. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. So thank you. Oh no, it wasn't Andrew. Michael, thank you. Okay, on to the other thing that Andrew said. Okay, yeah, and it was Andrew who I was chatting with. And this is when, man, it was late. Remember when we were moving our Shadow Wraith, and on its card it said about Shadow Step. It roll 1d20 and it activates on a 16 to 20. I rolled a 19. I was just tired, excuse me. So we're going to take, it actually did get another turn, but then, you know, it only activates once per turn. So we're just going to finish this up now, and it doesn't affect the game at all. So let's roll. Base movement of 2. That's a lot of movement. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You know what that means? It has 2 movement remaining. Stops on the spawn point. It's going to pick up a new patrol route. Let's get our patrol route die. I'm using our new Skull Classic die. We'll roll right here, and it's going to go on the orange patrol route. So looking over here, okay, and this is a perfect example. Hopefully you can see that there's an orange footprint on the green. So remember what I said? He's just going to follow the green patrol route because there's an orange footprint. So 1 and 2. So he's on the green patrol route. Okay, that's all taken care of. And before we enable traps, I want to touch on this, and I wish I would have went further with it when we were in these chambers. Remember when Zeke and Mahaliak were combating that tough battle with the level 2 champion monsters? Remember, these are the monster tokens that represent champion monsters. Someone had asked about the incantation track, and this is very simple to understand, but so let's just go over that real quick. I'm not going to set everything up, but let's say, you know, there was a level 2 champion monster in here, and let's just say Mahaliak went in. Okay, he didn't rally Zeke, and he went in. Remember, the one option is there's 3 outcomes. The hero kills the champion monster kills the hero, or the hero can evade out. Like, it's just too tough and he's going to run out. Okay, so here's the rule about this and about the incantation track. if a champion monster is ever left alone in a chamber, so let's just say Maheliak evaded out, that champion monster is alone, correct? That's going to affect the incantation track. Okay, let's go over to the UI board and show you this. This is the incantation track. You see it goes from 1 to 4. This is very easy to understand. So let's just say that scenario that Maheliak evaded out of that chamber. There was a level 2 champion monster, correct? It's going to start an incantation. And since it's a level 2, you're going to place 2 tokens, 1, 2, on the incantation track because it was a level 2 champion monster. So this goes with whatever level it is. Let's just say, let's clear that. Let's say it was a level 1 champion monster. You're going to put 1 token on the incantation track because it's level 1. Let's say that there was a level 3 champion monster. You already know, right? If they evade out or the champion monster kills that hero, that monster is going to start an incantation track. Start an incantation, place that on the track. And then same with a level 4, we're not remove it all. Let's say it was a level 4 champion monster. The incantation track would be full. We won't get into this right now, but a hex is placed over the village. The terror track goes up, the bazaar loses inventory, the minion population goes up. So if this incantation is ever fulfilled, a hex is placed on the village, and what I just aforementioned, that will happen. Lastly, before we go, let's say that there was that level 2. He evaded out, right? 2 tokens go on there. Okay, let's say that that's cleared, and 2 turns later there was a level 1 and the hero evaded out. Okay, you would put 1 there. Lastly, let's say there was a level 3, and this was a big question, so I want to go over this. Well, and that level 3 killed the hero, so that champion monster is left alone in the chamber. You can't place 3 because there's already 3 there. The incantation is fulfilled. You don't put those other 2. Okay, so you would put a hex on the village, like I said, and then you clear this immediately. So you would not put like the 2 extra back on the incantation track. It was fulfilled, it's cleared. So that's how the incantation track works and what a hex is. Okay, so let's go over and we're going to set up traps and get into our turn 2. Okay, let's go over the trap system in the game and how to set them up. First of all, you're going to get 20 trap tokens, and I flipped some of these over. You're going to notice that this kind of triggered side here, you're going to get 10 of these, and then you're going to get 10 that are kind of like all clear, that a trap did not fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip these over, and I'm going to give them a shuffle off camera because I'm not going to take up your time with that. But what you do is you shuffle all of those tokens and you leave them face down. And then there's certain spots on the dungeon that has an icon where you place the traps. So what happens is when a hero lands on a trap token, you simply reveal it. So if it's clear, they can just keep moving with their turn. However, if they land on one and it's a trap that's been triggered, you're going to have to draw from the trap deck. And as of right now, there's 17 unique traps in the game. So you can see with this system, every time you play and you mix these and place them, the traps will be in different locations. And of course, drawing from the deck, which is totally random. So it's a very cool trap mechanic for Dungeon Crusade. And there's many, as I said, there's many different kinds of traps in the game. And I want to point something out because we were hanging out with Derek over at Kanjay Studios. He just did a Solo Crusader playthrough. I have a link in the description. It was a great playthrough, so go check that out. But his hero had stepped on a trap, and I want to let you guys know about this one. If you're going to be playing on the Ancient Runes board, Castle Blackwood, or the Cavern of Lost Souls, you have to remove this trap card. This is called the Book of Summoning. This trap is exclusive to the Tomb of Kaladar. You don't use this on any other board. So if you're playing on any of those boards I mentioned, go ahead and take the Book of Summoning out because it's specific to the Tomb of Kaladar. And that's quite simply the trap system in Dungeon Crusade. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle these up, place them, and we're going to roll on with turn 2. Okay, so we're at the top of turn 2. And remember, this is going to go much more briskly because I took the time in turn 1 to explain just about everything. But as new things come up, we'll explain that. But there shouldn't be too much. So let's look at the player aid card that comes with the game. Remember, there's 5 phases: upkeep, encounter. So it comes into focus. Upkeep, encounter, guardian phase, hero phase, monster phase. So of course we are in the upkeep phase, and we're going to go right down this list. Let's go over to our other table here and take a look at our heroes and what we have to do. Okay, and going over in the upkeep phase, if we had any special abilities that were channeled, we would unchannel them. The only special ability we have right now, Maheliak does, is Intimidating Shout. And remember, the green arrow pointing up means it never has to be channeled. But if it had a red arrow, remember, you channel it, you would unchannel that now. So we don't have to unchannel anything. Do we have a lit torch? Remember, you roll a d12. On a result of 1 or 2, the torch goes out. No hero has a lit torch. If a hero had the bleeding affliction or poison, we would process that. Our heroes are good. And remember, we're working on the Baron's Wine quest right now, so our quests aren't finished yet. That's where we'd have to interact with the teleport track. So really what we're going to do is we're going to lay out our plan, and we're going to put our initiative tokens down. And remember, Zeke, our mercenary, gets 3, and Maheliak gets 3. Let's go back in the dungeon and discuss what we want to do for turn 2 in the hero phase. And I have said that this is like one of my favorite parts of a turn, is like looking at the dungeon, surveying everything, where the monsters are at, our route, and what do we want to do. Well, as I said, we're over here in the ruins of Hamvir, and we want to go up there to the spider lair because we have to find the onyx key that will unlock the doors in the ancient depths with the red bases. So which way do we want to go? So I was thinking to take Zeke and Maheliak, come through here and go into the ancient depths, and then we would go up through here, and I don't know, there's a treasure chest we could hit, but there's a trap there, so I don't know. So we could maybe go this way, or we could go straight up through the ruins of Hamvir and go back up to the Siege Child and over this way. So it's non-linear. You can just pick the way you want to go. I'm sorry to be so indecisive, but I like taking you guys along to let you hear what I'm thinking of doing. Tell you what, let's just go through here. We're going to go through here. Maheliak's definitely going to trigger that trap, and then we'll go through the ancient depths, and then I don't know, probably up through here, then up into northern quarters. Okay, so let me lay these initiative tokens down. I took a little time with that, but I wanted to kind of show you what I was thinking so you can get acclimated to, the upkeep phase and, plotting your course through the dungeon. So we're going to take initiative token 1, give that to Maheliak. He's going to activate first, and we're definitely going to see a trap go off, possibly a trap. And I think we're just going to alternate. We're going to give Zeke initiative token 2, give initiative token 3 to Maheliak, initiative token 4 to Zeke, and then of course initiative token 5 to Maheliak, and then finally initiative token 6 to Zeke. Okay, so upkeep phase is done. Next up, we are going to be moving into the encounter phase. So let's go over to the encounter deck and draw a card. Okay, and we're over here at the encounter deck, and remember, during the encounter phase, simply draw a card. Draw, and it is a challenge. Remember, there are challenges, events, environment cards, and interludes. So let's go over what challenge this is. Select a hero. When you see that, you are freely allowed to select whatever hero you want, because some of them will say randomly select a hero where you roll a d6. The result is the initiative token, But for challenges, you get to select the hero. So this hero has made an interesting discovery. Within a chamber is a chest that resides at the bottom of a well with an old rusty chain attached to it. This hero must test strength 18 to pull the chest out of the well. On a pass, the hero pulls the chest out, roll 1d20 and 1d10. Wow, I forgot about that. It'd be a lot of gold. Adding the results together times 100 for the gold amount within the chest. On a fail, the chain breaks and smashes at the bottom of the well. This alerts 2 nearby minions. Spawn 2 minions adjacent to this hero. Wow. Let's go over to our battle table and set this up. Okay, this is going to be very interesting, and you could ask other players. You really never know what's going to happen in Dungeon Crusade. So let me explain this first so you know. This is new to the game, and this is ready for download right now, but it's going to be in your Crusader upgrade kit and the game. This is the new scalable difficulty reference card. You use this on traps, treasure chests, trap treasure chest, and also on challenges and events in the counter deck. And what this does is it just makes it the challenges scale to level 1 and level 2 heroes. So remember on our challenge here it says Maheliak has to test strength 18. Well, consulting our card, and my very nice neighbor Samantha printed this out and laminated it, so it will look much better than this. It's kind of faded. But the entry right there for level 1 heroes, we get to deduct 6 from any challenge, event, treasure chest card, which would, be a trapped card or a regular trap card. So Maheliak only needs to get a 12. But looking at his hero card, let's look at strength before we do this. He's very good in strength. He's a barbarian. That's a +3. And you can tell right here by the arm, that's strength. So really, he just has to get a 9. So I feel confident that he could do this. I have our D20 here now, but remember, if he fails trying to pull this, let's say there's a well in here, in this chamber, it's going to break and alert 2 minions. That's what I wanted to point out. Even though our minions spawn, our population is 5, this would exceed it. We would spawn 2 minions in there, because I know that someone might ask that, so it's good to point that out. So even though we have 5 minions in the dungeon, there would be 7 because of this card. And quite simply, see these 2 little icons at the top here? Right here? What this simply means is the yellow eye, if this hero was being tracked by a guardian, he would be ineligible, or she would be ineligible for this challenge. And the sword with the red dot, that means if they are engaged with combat, they could not do this challenge. That's all that means. Okay, so let's get our D20. The Maheliak picture, he's trying to pull this treasure chest, trying to pull on this chain to get this out of the well. We need to get a 9. And you know what? We didn't do it. 5 and 3, nope. That thing shatters, falls to the bottom of the well, alerts 2 minions. Let's spawn the 2 minions, and let's see what he's going to have to contend with. Okay, we have our level 1 minion deck. Give it a quick shuffle so you can see there's no funny business going on. And let's see the 2 minions that have been alerted to this loud crash with the chest that hit the bottom of the well. So we're going to have to spawn an overgrown black rock viper. This is a normal version. Here it's not an elite. And our second one, an elite orc archer. Okay, let me get their miniatures. I'll meet you back over there in the chamber with our 2 minions. And real quick before we head over there, remember this is our monster area. That was spawned first, and then this one here. Okay, now let's head over to the chamber. Okay, here is our overgrown black rock viper. We'll put it right there. And there is our elite green orc archer. This is going to be one fun battle. And actually you're going to see the revised combat or evolved combat with the minions. It's a very fun combat system. But remember, this is just the encounter phase. So when we get to the hero phase, Maheliak will be activating first, and we're going to do some combat and maybe, hopefully, kill both of them in the first round of combat. So we'll get to that. So let's get to the Guardian phase. And looking at our player aid card, remember, so we did the encounter, we're going to the Guardian phase, and we are, what's our quota? 2 Guardians for this scenario. I have our D20, and we just simply roll. On a 19 or higher, 1 Guardian will spawn, and that is a, no, 14. Okay, so what we do is we just lower this by 1 tick. So it is on 18 now. Now, let's head into the hero phase. Okay, and remember at the start of our series, I said I had these extra dungeon boards where I could just set up little scenarios to explain things. So this is definitely one of them. And so we're going to talk about minion combat, or evolved minion combat. But it's just known now as the revised combat mode, and I think you're really going to enjoy how this works. So first of all, I'm using initiative token 1 because this is, of course, we gave this to Maheliak, so of course we're in the hero phase. So let me explain something to you about the minions in the game. We're going to take our Orc Archer here, even though we looked at one, but the minions in Dungeon Crusade are trash mobs. That's like something you hear a lot in like MMORPGs. They're just trash mobs. They're hardly ever going to carry any kind of gold or loot. They're not worth any life force. They're trash mobs. And while they are versed in 3 of the warfare types, they're not as proficient as like the champions and the guardians of the dungeon to use all 3 at once. So what's nice about this combat system is, and it's kind of unpredictable, the minion is going to randomly select one of the 3. You'll never know what it's going to pull out to use. So let's play this out, and I think it's very easy and it goes very quick once you just know the system and you do it. So Maheliak, of course, is faced with the Orc Archer and the overgrown Blackrock Viper, and this is kind of like where the Thinking Man's Dungeon Crawl game comes in. He's going to select who he wants to attack. And remember, when you use an attack, that's it for the initiative token. Your turn's done after you attack with an initiative token. But remember, in Solo Crusader mode, they have extra ones. So what we're going to do is, this is what we want to consider. Remember our warfare types here, what Maheliak is proficient in. So looking at these 2 minions, because we can select, he's kind of like looking at them right now, like who he wants to attack. And so he's going to kind of consider, well, let's look at these warfare types where we can potentially do damage. This Orc Archer, is versed in chaos. Well, both of them are versed in chaos. That's great. But we don't know what this minion's going to pull out of his bag of tricks, kind of like the AI. What's this minion going to do? So either one, chaos, we're going to probably score damage and kill it. However, this Orc Archer is strong in spiritual. Well, looking at spiritual warfare, he has to deduct 2, I believe, from all spiritual warfare rolls. Yes, it's -2. So he's not proficient in that. So already, I don't think we're going to attack this Orc Archer. Because here, if we attack the Blackrock Viper, he's kind of just middle of the road with mythical and ranged. It's zeroed on his card. So, and plus over here with Mallory's Golden Bow, he can add +3. So kind of like the Thinking Man's Dungeon Crawl game, strategically and tactically, it's going to be better to attack the overgrown Blackrock Viper. And remember, this is a normal, it's non-elite, so it just has the origin story here that I wrote for it. So this is how combat works, and it's once you know it, it's super quick. It's over in a matter of like 10 seconds. Notice the warfare types. So we're going to gather the mythical warfare token. We're going to gather the ranged warfare token and the chaos warfare token. So let me get these, I have them right here. And this goes much quicker. But again, I just want to show you this, zoom in on this so you know. There's the tokens. Simply, the minion's going to select one at random. And even if you want, you can roll a d3. That's another way you could do this. Just roll a d3, like 1, 2, 3, whatever comes up. That's the warfare type. So we shuffle, and you just pull one at random. Perfect. So this Blackrock Viper is selected Chaos Warfare. We're going to get our Chaos Warfare dice, but with the revised combat, there's now the final strike die. It's a d20. What you can do is add all of Maheliak's bonuses to Chaos Warfare to this final strike die. And here's an important rule to remember, guys. The final strike die is not a warfare roll. It's simply known as a final strike die. And without giving too much away, there's new monsters and creatures coming into Dungeon Crusade, and I've been writing special abilities with this. So, final strike. Lastly, there's a chance that Maheliak, there's a very good chance that he can do a critical strike. And real quickly, what that is let's look at this Blackrock, overgrown Blackrock Viper again. Notice that it has 2 health, okay? So if he scores 2 damage, of course, he's going to kill it on the Chaos Warfare dice. However, if he does score a hit with the final strike die, and this is what I think you're going to love, that's another 2 damage because it's another roll. So a critical strike is you can carry the damage over. So picture he took his axe and he swung at the Blackrock Viper, but with that extra damage, it would get applied. You got to apply the damage somewhere. It's going to go on the Orc Archer. And this only has 1 health. So he could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So we're going to, it's going to go much quicker when we do it next time. So this Blackrock Viper, he has chosen this. The battle's about to commence. You roll these together. Process your warfare dice first, then your final strike. So let's roll, and and I'm going to declare, of course, Mallory's Golden Bow because we can do 2 damage. This will all fall into place once we play it out here. That's a monster hit. That's a 17. And then for our final strike, we have a 9. Okay, so let's process this first. And you know what? I said this when I was talking about this. So picture the warfare dice. These 2 combatants go back to go at each other, and he swings and this thing lunges at him. He hit the overgrown Viper. So picture they were pulling back. That's the final strike. They each got 1 more. They had a chance to do another hit. So let's process all that. But I just wanted you to think of that thematically. Let's take a look at our overgrown Blackrock Viper. It only had 10. So of course, Maheliak put 2 damage on that because of Mallory's Golden Bow, right? So, and he has +3 to Chaos Warfare, so 17 and 3, that's a 20. So, and you know, I forgot to get my damage tokens, but I'll remember that. Well, we already killed it. But remember, final strike, as they were pulling away, he swung again, and that was a hit. You can add your Chaos Warfare to the final strike die. Pretty cool, right? So 3 and 9, that's 12. So again, like maybe he shot the bow with this, and as he was pulling back, thematically, he just quickly grabbed an arrow and shot it again, but it went over to the Orc Archer, and it only has 1 health. So like he hit that, and then the final strike is going back, he shot at this, killed both of them in that with both of those rolls. Does that make sense? Just think about that. If you have extra damage, it can be carried over to anyone who's to a minion who's adjacent. They have to be adjacent for the critical strike to happen. Okay? All right, let me get its card and let me explain, because we have to do the loot and gold roll now. Okay, and you know what, guys? I just want to go over that. Like, now this is the super quick version. Like if we were just playing, just so all this gels for you. Let's just go through this real quick again. So at the start, remember, we're going to consult both minions. Of course, we're going to attack this overgrown Blackrock Viper, right? Take its 3 warfare types, give it a shuffle, and chaos came up, right? Okay, it's going to be chaos warfare. Get your chaos warfare dice, get your final strike die, and simply roll. And you know how we process that. So that's like the warfare dice are like the initial attack, and then they kind of pull back for the final strike, and this is like the final strike coming at it. And then sum up the damage, you're done. That's how quick the combat is with minions. So I hope you enjoy that. It's a very fun combat mechanic. And then with this, you could literally load up the dungeon with like 12 minions because combat it's that quick. So let's first of all process, because that was an awesome churn. I'm glad this came up. So put those guys over. They're dead. So loot and gold roll for the overgrown Blackrock Viper. And what is this here? I'm trying to read it through the camera. That is a 19 plus 18 plus. Let's get our D20. Is right here. And no, it's only a 6, okay? So this monster didn't drop anything, the trash mob. So consulting the Orc Archer, 20 for a piece of loot, 19 for some gold. Roll the D20. Whoa, what is that there? Oh no, 16, okay. Told you, trash mobs, they very rarely drop anything. Okay, guys, that was just initiative token 1. Oops, we got to put Zeke over here. So now we are going to get initiative token 2 and activate Zeke. Okay, and now it is Zeke's turn. We're going to use initiative token 2. And you know what? I was thinking, my mind is always changing in this game. And I have to say, I really enjoyed that combat with those 2 minions. That was fun. And I'm glad that came up to show you that. I'm hoping we're going to go fight more minions so we can just like run through that again. I don't want Zeke to activate that trap. I was going to have, if it is, we don't know, it could be a clear trap, but I think we're going to have Zeke come down here and open this treasure chest. How about that? I think that's what we're going to do. So remember, he has a D6 base movement of 2. That's great movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know what? I am going to burn an essence. Plus, as a reminder to you, because remember, you can burn essence as much as you want to gain a movement. So we're going to do this. And that's 1. So he can gain 1 extra movement with that. And you can burn as much as you want, but remember, you want to probably hold on to some essence. So I have gained 1 movement. I'm on top of a treasure chest. And let us reveal what this is. And actually, hold on, I'm just going to grab the treasure chest deck and we'll shuffle it right here on camera. Remember, the treasure chest deck, as I always say, it's the ultimate in risk and reward. There are some awesome gold amounts that heroes can find. There's some long lost artifacts, but there is some bad stuff. So let's see. And remember, you can use that reference card, the scalable difficulty. So I want to show you they're shuffled. And let's just go down. And this one right here. Zeke opens the chest and finds... I thought it was going to be a trap. Lifting the lid of the archaic chest, you discover 300 gold. Well, I'd much rather have 300 gold than a trap. Okay, so let me get the gold, and then we're going to go to initiative. Oh, no, he still has an action left. Hold on, let me get his gold.